want something good, but if it's really good, you're gonna need a bigger room.
Well, hello, it's Dexter and me again, and back on your screens for another scintillating and missable weekend video. And I'm going to give you just one guess as to where Dexter is today. That's right. Anyway, I don't know. He's getting lazier and lazier and lazier. Anyway, on to the subject of this week's video, and it's buying stuff again. That's right, it must seem these days like I'm buying something new every week. I am buying something new every week pretty well. First there was the GFX 50R, then I got a new iMac, then I got the new Fujifilm X-T3, and now I've got a new lens for my GFX 50R. Perhaps you could guess what I was alluding to last week. I actually went ahead and bought the Fujifilm GF 23mm, so an 18mm equivalent on full frame. On full frame. It's a lens I really wanted. Could I afford it? Not strictly, no, but one of the camera shops I deal with was offering a buy now, pay in 6 months deal. And while I would not normally advocate going into any debt at all, I simply do not like debt myself. I thought, well, I could either save up for 6 months and get it in August, September, at the height of summer when there's not much landscape photography to be done, or I could buy it now, or get it now, and save up until September and pay for it then. And also, my health's not been too clever at the moment, so 6 months is a long time for me. So I figured, no, I'm going to get the lens now. I'm going to break the habit of a lifetime, and I know it's not borrowing money, but it's buy now, pay in 6 months, and get the lens on that way. And boy, am I glad I did. This lens is absolutely scintillating. I think that's probably the best word to use. Is that the second time I've used the word scintillating in this week's video? I think it might be. Anyway, it is absolutely stunning. The images coming out of this are so sharp, they're so crisp, colourful, contrasty. Coupled with the GFX 50, I think that this lens is getting every last ounce out of those 51.4 megapixels. I really think it is. It's squeezing every last drop of raw goodness from the Fuji files. I know I've said this before, but I really am hardly touching these files once I get them into Lightroom or Capture One. There's so little to do. The pictures are almost ready to look at, which for me is unheard of in RAW files. The best way I can really describe them is the first time you listen to, say, a really high quality audiophile hi-fi system after listening to your really good system. The differences are small, but they're massive, if you get my drift. That's a really bad analogy, but that's the best way I can really describe it. My photographs look on a different level, but they're not that different, if you get my drift, get my meaning. It's not all sweetness and light though. This thing is heavy. Again, it weighs an absolute ton. It's got an 82mm front filter thread, so I had to buy a new Lee adapter ring, which cost me another 40 quid. So I could fit my Lee filters on this. Obviously I didn't want to get a step down ring, and it's just as well I didn't, because with the polarizer ring and the polarizer attached, there is some vignetting with this lens. Now that doesn't really bother me because I normally crop my images down to 5x4, so I don't normally see any sort of vignetting there. But if you've got the polarizer ring and the polarizer attached, it's okay without the actual polarizer. With the polarizer attached, there is some small vignetting. And one other thing I noticed, and I don't think this is the lens's fault to be honest, I think this is the fault of the Lee adapter I bought. I can't seem to thread it on properly. It always feels like it's cross-threading, that it won't go on all the way. I haven't got another 82mm lens to test it on, or another 82mm filter to test the lens thread with. But I'd be very surprised, given Fuji's high standards of build quality and quality control, if it's the thread on the lens itself. So it's probably the the adapter ring. While the lens has weather sealing, there's no OIS with this lens at all. So it's not going to be one really for hand holding, given its weight. You're not going to be using the GFX for video anyway, or if you are, it's going to be very, very casual video, so you're not going to worry about the lack of OIS there. But it does have, as I said, it does have weather sealing, which is a plus point. For me, as you know, I love my really clicky aperture rings, and it's got a really lovely clicky aperture ring, and again it's got the C and A positions. A obviously is automatic, and C allows you to use one of the command dials if you set them, but I prefer to use the actual aperture collar on the lens. I quite like using that. I'm quite old school. The focus ring, as ever, is lovely and smooth. I just wish it had a hard stop at infinity for astrophotography, because I think this would be a stellar, excuse the pun, a stellar astrophotography lens, but there's no hard stop at infinity. But anyway, this lens isn't about gimmicks and gizmos and functionality. It's all about ultimate image quality, and in that area it simply does not disappoint. I could not be happier with the images coming out of this lens and camera. I'm so glad I got the 18mm lens. As I said before, the 32 to 64 is a versatile zoom range, but it's not quite wide enough at its widest end. And for me, this now is. Now I know 18mm is a bit of an odd focal length. It's not 40 and it's not 60 and it's not 21, which are the usual sort of wide angle lens settings. It's somewhere in between, which is a bit of an odd one. But you kind of get used to that. So in conclusion, am I happy I bought this lens? Yeah. Of course I am. The image quality is absolutely stellar. The amount of detail the lens resolves is just phenomenal. If you're umming and ahhing about getting this 23mm lens and you can afford it, or you can get a good deal like I just have, get it. Don't hesitate. Get it. It's a fantastic, fantastic lens. And on that note, no, I'm not going to finish. Bit of a funny story actually. On our first trip out, Dexter and I, with this lens, we took it to a local waterfall to make an image, and I took a shot with it, which was absolutely great. Changed positions, went to get a slightly different second composition, turned the camera on, and the back screen was absolutely blank apart from the camera settings. EVF exactly the same, it was blank. It was as if I'd left the lens cap on. No, I hadn't left the lens cap on. I checked, I had taken the lens cap off, but it looked like I'd left the lens cap on. Anyway, I turned the camera on and off. I took the battery out to completely reboot it, thinking perhaps it's one of these Fuji lockup issues. Put the battery back in, absolutely no difference. So I thought, right, okay, it must be the new lens. So I put my old lens back on the camera. Nope. Still exactly the same. Well, as I said, I could see the camera settings on the back of the camera, just no live view or EVF image, and it was then I noticed that I must have somehow unlocked my shutter speed dial and bumped the position from A, because I usually shoot in aperture priority, to 1/4000th of a second, and that's why the back screen was completely blank. What an absolute idiot. Anyway, thanks very much as usual for watching and for supporting this channel. It really is very, very much appreciated, trust me. It's not monetized, it doesn't make me any money. I don't do it for that. I do it for kicks, really. And the more people that watch my videos, obviously, it's nicer for me. Anyway, as I said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this in some way useful. Buy the lens. Buy this lens. Do not delay. Buy it today. Anyway, from Dexter and me, I'm going to go and tickle him now to wake him up or something. We'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.